Are you struggling with your sales team? Are you in a situation where you can sell pretty easily, but the hired team, not so much? That's a pretty common situation, and one of the important reasons may not be obvious to you. Last year, I worked with a fast-growing software company. They'd grown to more than 150 staff in a pretty short period of time, and the chief salesperson and founder of the company, Joe, was struggling because he'd reached his natural limit. You know, once you get to that size company, it's hard to do all the selling yourself. And I spoke to Joe, we had lunch together, and he agreed that I could come in and work with his team on storytelling. Joe understood the importance of storytelling, and that's what we agreed to do. And I wanted to help develop the company story before the workshop, but I couldn't get access to Joe. He was flat out all over the place. I couldn't get time with him. But on the morning of the first workshop, Joe turned up unannounced. And it was immediately obvious to me that he was an unconscious, natural storyteller. He just told one story after another, bang, bang, bang. And his staff were rolling their eyes. They'd heard all these stories before. But what I know is that it's not a coincidence that he's telling all of these stories and he's the number one salesperson in the company. These two things go together. The problem is, and the problem for Joe was, his team didn't really know the stories or how to tell them or when to tell those stories. Joe told a fantastic story about the exact moment that he knew that he would go out on his own and start his own company. That's a fascinating piece of company information that the rest of the team just didn't know, and it needs to be in the company strategy story, but they didn't have it. Well, we were able to work with that team, and we had several workshops, and now they can tell the company story, and they continue to grow, and Joe isn't the one and only salesperson anymore. So think about this, the people that know how to sell, and most often that's the company founders or the top business people in the company. They know how to sell naturally and they tell stories unconsciously. They don't even notice they're doing it. Those stories are the key to scaling up the rest of your team. You need to be able to extract those stories, isolate them, put them in a story library and get the team practicing telling those stories, and then they can start to sell like the best salesperson in your company. So don't be frustrated that the team can't sell. Uncover those stories, expose them to the team, make sure they can tell the stories, and you'll be amazed. You'll watch the level of your team rise to your level. They will be able to sell.